the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I
Oh man. Oh, am I live? How did I get here? Where am I? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, man. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I really wanted to just chill tonight and have some fun and chat with y'all. Presidential debate is over, so this is the post-game show for everybody who watched tonight. Y'all come in the building, hit that like button, let your friends and family members know about the channel. All right. I finally know who I'm voting for, y'all. I figured it out tonight. Y'all, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I ain't even gonna make y'all wait. I finally realized who I'm voting for. If you get mad at me, it is what it is. I don't care. Tua Tagovailoa is my next president, baby. Punch him in on the ballot. oh, man. Oh, I'm voting for Tua, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's elect our next president, 2025. Tua Tagovailoa, baby. Let's go. If you with me, let's go. Hit that like button. Oh man. Tyreek Hill, the vice president, baby. Tyreek Hill is the vice president. He going after all these police officers stopping him on the side. Oh my God. Skylar Thompson gonna be in charge of foreign affairs. Man, Jason Sanders gonna handle the economy. Who gonna be the border czar? Let me see. Eichenberg can't block, so he ain't gonna be. Armstead gonna be in charge of the border. Oh man. Oh man, I don't know what Waddle gonna be in charge of. I don't know. I gotta make it. I don't know, man. I don't know. But we gonna have a a good administration. We're gonna have a great administration in the likes you've never seen before, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna have a great administration. Man, y'all hit that like button, all right? Y'all punch that like button. Let your friends and family members know about the channel. Shout out to those watching on YouTube. Shout out to those watching on Twitter. I'm shocked nobody in here, bro. Why you doing politics? Man, listen, if you've been on this channel, you know that we have good conversation. We down to earth people on this channel. We talk real life in football and family, faith, and all that good stuff, man. So nothing's off limits on this channel. We talk about it all. But you know, if you know anything about me, I try to be as fair of a person as I possibly can. So with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about what I saw tonight in the presidential debate and break it down, let you know how I feel. I want y'all to, first of all, we're going to start out by looking at the title. Look at the title of this video. And again, y'all know how I feel about all this. All right. Well, you don't know how I feel about all of it, but we'll break down some of the things that I believe. Okay. So look at the title. I think y'all need to really look at the title. You really look at the title. Presidential debate, post-game show. Presidential isn't an important game. Debate isn't an important word. Sorry. Presidential is not an important word in my title. Debate is not an important word in my title. Show is not an important word in my title. Post game is the important word of my title. And it's not even the root of the word post, right? Afterwards. That ain't even a part of the importance, okay? The word game is important in the title of this show tonight because TD feels like it's all a game. It's all a game. TD, this is not a game. This is serious life, man. This is the next president of the United States. Well, when I sit back and I remove myself, I am an American citizen. I was born and raised in Hollywood, Florida, Memorial Hospital, just so you know, birth certificate, all that stuff. I don't think I was, food and made somebody, but I believe, I was born in America, right? So if I remove myself from that, right, which I have a lot of pride for our country, by the way, for several reasons, I do. But if I remove myself from that and I just like go up in space and I'm just looking down at everything going on and I didn't know anything about politics and all of that, I feel like I would be looking at a game. I would be looking at a game. Why would you say that, TD, that you're looking at a game? Because I see a team over here and I see a team over here that are playing against each other. And that ain't even the important part about it. Here's the important part. I see fans supporting their team and I see fans supporting their team. Okay? It's almost like Tua Tagovailoa's situation, in my opinion. Okay, fans on both sides, they don't care about the execution on the field. They just love their quarterback. They don't care about how good or bad of a game he or she had. They just love their quarterback. No matter what, they just love their quarterback. They gonna ride for their quarterback. They're not caring about the X's and O's. They're not caring about the execution. They don't care if the quarterback can process the field, read a defense, call audibles, have accuracy, arm strength. They don't care about any of that. They just love their quarterback. It's that simple. That's what I'm watching. Two teams loving on their quarterback and not looking at the game in the X's and O's. So I don't care about your quarterback. People who love the Democratic Party, I don't care about your quarterback. People who love the Republican Party, I don't care about your quarterback. Just like I do with Tua Tagovailoa, I care about what's happening on the field. I care about what's happening on the field. So what is happening on the field in America? And this is what it comes down to. What is happening on the field in America? Can y'all list some of the issues that are happening on the field in America in the comment section? And I just want to write like 10 of them down. Y'all do me a favor. Start listing all some of the issues that are big to you all that are happening on the field in America. Amen to the wifey. Economy. All right. Borders. Immigration. I'll sub it out. I'll put that together with borders. Borders, immigration. Let me put abortion. All right. Housing costs. Apartments are unaffordable. That goes into housing. Anything else, y'all? Racial divide. Okay. Racial divide. Okay. Lester Cotton. Police brutality. Okay. Cost of groceries. That's under inflation. Wait, I don't have inflation on here. How we get to number 7 and inflation ain't on here? That's affecting all of us. Inflation. Oh man, women's rights. We kind of have that because it's really abortion. What else I got? Healthcare. Okay, that's a good one. All right. Guns. Oh man, y'all coming and bringing out the stops today. You got one more. One more. World affairs. Okay, world affairs. Now we can make a list of probably 30, y'all. We can make a list of 30. I see infrastructure, chronic health. Ooh, that's a big one. That's dear to me. That's a big issue. See, and that's the problem with this. We can make a whole matter of fact, because maybe we can have some fun late night talks like this sometimes and talk about some of these things. So let me add 5 more. Chronic health. All right. Ukraine funding. So that's different from world affairs, but funding. Ukraine. Climate change. Okay, climate change. Let's do 2 more. Let's see. LGBTQ. GBTQ. I can tell now I ain't gonna have a channel tomorrow. Oh man, Skylar. Hey, babe. Huh? Yeah, probably. You even mind making me some coffee? Love you. Thank you. All right. Fracking. All right, we done right there. We done right there. Now I know our education. I got 15. I mean, I'm gonna go to 500 if I keep going. The wife said good night, y'all. Good night, everybody, from the wife. Good night. Y'all just got me out of taking the kids to school in the morning because she like go ahead and stream and she gonna go to bed. She'll take them in the morning. I usually take them. So y'all just got me out of it. You know, I've been waking up real early, so we could. Huh?
Make sure that you're promoting people to do their own research.
That's right. That's right. Research, lack of manipulation. I'm not gonna troll. I already started the stream trolling. It's cool with my president. All right, y'all. Listen, let's stop right there. I know y'all can go on all night and all night and all night giving me things on the list of all the things that you want to that are issues that are dear to you in life. We can go on all night. I got 15 here. We can get to 50. All right. First of all, just the fact that we could get to 50 is we got a lot of problems. We got a lot of problems. And I'm glad that y'all listed so many because I think one thing we could all agree on, regardless of what gang you belong to. That's right. I'm calling a lot of y'all gang affiliates because a lot of y'all affiliated with gangs. You rep your whatever. Y'all, it is what it is, but it ain't, and it is what it is, you know, because at the end of the day, even I'm going to make a decision on which side I want to walk into that booth and punch the ticket for. Even me. So although I don't identify as a Democrat nor a Republican, I still will walk in that booth and make a decision that's best for me and my family. I will. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to what is best for you, your life, and your family. It's just like football that I'm going to relay this to tonight because we just ride for our quarterback and we don't care about the execution. Now, I don't know if this is the right crowd to be talking to because y'all arrive for players on the team, even if you know they no good for you. So I'm trying to help people maybe break that. I'm not telling nobody on here who to vote for. But that ain't what I'm gonna do here tonight. I don't do that. But I bring out the issues and then let you think in your mind which side you take on the issue and see where you end up at the end of the day. And you got to make your decision going into that booth. Because what I will not do and what the problem that we have out here in society today, they got people stuck on identity politics. That is our number one weapon. They got people making decisions based off of identity politics, not the issues, but the identity. He's this, but he's that. But she ain't this, but he ain't that. But she was supposed to, but he was supposed to. It's all about the person instead of the policy. That's all. They got you worrying about everything. Oh, well, she did this in the past. He did that in the past. She believes she, is smart. He is smart. She's dumb. He's like, they got you all up in the identity politics. Well, I don't trust him. Well, I don't trust her. The problem is you keep looking at them. Stop looking at them. Listen to what they are saying in regards to the issues. Oh, well, she ain't black. Well, he ain't white. Oh, well, she identifies as this. He identifies as that. Oh, well, he's a racist. She's a racist. You're like, they got you so caught up in identity politics. I can't sit down and have a intelligent conversation with I'm gonna be honest with you, with almost a single soul. Like I don't have a good batting average. Like 99.9% of the people that I have a conversation with about politics, I get annoyed with because I don't want to hear about her nor him. I want to hear about policy, the real impacts. But why aren't we? Why is it every time both candidates get asked the question, we really don't get a clear answer? We get other subjects answered. The game. Let's dive in, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I agree. Politics is all about using one's identity to attack them. I'm going to show the American people who she is as a person so that they can hate her. I'm going to show the American people who he is as a person so they can hate him. Nobody is having a conversation about these issues that y'all just listed out to me, such as the economy, such as the border and immigration, abortion, housing costs, racial divide, police brutality, inflation, healthcare, guns, world affairs, chronic health, funding in Ukraine, climate change, LGBTQ, fracking. Nobody's really having those conversations. Sometimes I just wish we had a candidate who reached out to YouTube and said, give me all the bandwidth you can give me because I'm going to go live every single night and we're going to talk about these issues with the American people. We're going to break it down. We're going to sit somebody down, have somebody on the right and have somebody on the left, telling that person about their point of views on it and just somebody who's bringing reason to the conversation. Let's start with the economy. Okay. Here's what I know about the economy. And by the way, I'm going to do a lot of talking here tonight, and I'm not an expert on everything. But what I will tell you, some things that are common sense to me are common sense. But whatever I say, if there is a level of ignorance in anything I say, that's what the chat is for, because I interact with the chat to have certain conversations. I'm not claiming to get everything right, but I'm giving you my truth and what I believe about every single issue. I'm going to try to come from a place of being a grounded individual that does not take sides either way, just giving you the facts of what I believe. Okay, let's start with the economy. First and foremost, when we talk about the economy, we have to go back because I heard a lot of stuff on the screen tonight. And I'm going to articulate what Kamala Harris was trying to say that some people might have not have caught, and what Donald Trump was trying to say that a lot of people may have not have caught, or what they deflected on, all of that stuff. Okay. So, like I said, and I'll get to the super chats after a while. Thanks for those who are donating to the channel. Okay. The economy. First, I think it's important that we understand within the economy what we're doing as people, we're comparing two administrations. We're comparing the Trump administration when he was president for 4 years, and we are comparing the Biden Harris, and we use both of their names because of the situation with Biden or whatever it may be, right? So we compare those two economies. All right. Now, when we talk economy, I think here's where people don't understand. They go straight to the Dow Jones and look at the stock market and think that's economy. That's the economy. That's the economy. No, ladies and gentlemen, the Dow Jones is a composite of major companies all together that are part of the Dow Jones. You got the S&P 500, the top 500 companies. You got the NASDAQ. This is what the stock market is. So when people go to the stock market, they say, well, it doesn't make sense because Trump keeps on saying he had the strongest economy, but his stock market ended, and this is rough estimate because I don't remember the exact number, but I'm close to it. His stock market ended somewhere around like 29,000 points. And Biden right now is over 40,000. That's a strong economy. Here's what I know. If you're basing it off of the stock market, then stop doing that. Okay. The stock market is also an indication of how much money is in the system. How much money is in the system and that's moving. Okay. There was a certain amount of money that was in the system when Donald Trump was president. What happened was when COVID took place, all that stimulus money, all that money y'all got in y'all pocket, you had money to go make all these corporations rich. And what did most people do? They went and made these corporations rich. So the stocks were going up. Stocks were going up. They making money. The value of the stocks are just going up. So I think a huge thing that we have to remember in a lot of the conversations about our current state of affairs in this country are the impacts of COVID. Okay. So here's what I'll say in regards to the economy. If you're going off of the stock market, that is not a true indication. When people say we're in a bad economy, the normal day-to-day American, so let me separate this. 5% of people, when they hear economy, they think stock market because they're investors, they're wealthy people. The other 95%, when they hear economy, they're talking about the cost of goods. Oh, this economy is bad, man. I can't afford anything. Okay? So when they're debating on stage, there's two different conversations going on. Vice President Harris is basically advocating, look at our economy. Our stock market is doing very well, which is true. But let's remember why. The other side, Trump, is saying, no, this economy is trash. Because what Republicans are basically saying is people can't afford to live. That's the general sense of the people's economy. Okay? So however you want to be on that, you have to decide for yourself. A lot of y'all are like, well, I ain't worried about the cost of goods and all that because I got money and I got businesses and I'm making a lot of money. The stock market economy, I'm loving. I ain't worrying about the people that ain't got much money that's struggling because I ain't struggling. I'm worried about this stock market. And yeah, you're in a strong economy. You are in a strong economy. But the typical day-to-day individual that's raising their kids and struggling, don't have like buku amounts of money, they're check to check or trying to survive. That's the economy of inflation and the cost of goods and everything else. So if that bothers you, then the economy, that's an issue for you. That's an issue for you. So there are a lot of people that's happy with the economy because they invest in the stock market. They making a lot of money. But there are a lot of people that are very upset with the economy because they're not investing. They're just trying to survive. And it is hard out here for those people. So when they get on that stage and they debate an economy, they're having two different debates. And the American people don't know it. So whatever side of the debate that you're on, if it's the stock market, you're not even hearing. You're like, the economy is strong. What are y'all talking about? You're not hearing the other people, their definition of the economy. And when you over here struggling to pay your bills and you listening to people say, oh, the economy is strong, what world are you living in? So once again, a point of contention and division. The point of contention and division, when at the end of the day, is just a misunderstanding of the definition. It is a misunderstanding of the definition of what are we talking about when we say the economy. So now that you know that, you have to ask yourself, where do you fall? If you got, you investing and you making a lot of money, where do you think it's important? You like the way it's going right now or not? If you're struggling X, Y, and Z, that piece of the economy, and you don't care about stocks because you ain't got none anyway, probably, then you need to understand that part of the economy. And with that being said, and for me, this economy is trash right now. This economy is trash because I'm looking at it holistically for the majority of America. This economy is trash. See, what we don't talk about is the difference between $2 in gas and $3 in gas. We're all comfortable paying our $3 right now, but we don't realize if it was $2 every week, that's another 20 or so dollars in your pocket. That's another something in your pocket that goes towards groceries or whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. And when we talk about our groceries, like I remember I took my daughter up to college, right? This is her second year. I took her up there and she said, man, Dad, because, you know, she had a summer job. She make her money, you know, just the smartest little girl ever. Not she ain't a little girl no more. Smartest woman ever. Okay. And she went into Walmart. She was like, Dad, last year I went in and I bought kind of the same thing. And it was like, I think she said like 120. I said, yeah. How much did you spend? Like 200? She said 360, something like that. It was up there. She was like, oh my gosh. That's what we're talking about. Getting her stuff ready for college. That's what we're talking about. So you have to ask yourself, where do you fall on that? So do you think for a college student that extra $200+ that she had to spend could go a long way? Yeah, it could. So that's where I stand on the economy. So whatever candidate best suits me in that regards of the economy to bring the cost of day-to-day goods up or down, I want them down. So if Vice President Harris can bring those numbers down, I like her in regards to the economy. If former President Donald Trump could bring the prices of things down for the economy, I like him on that point. Now, you see how you can like somebody on a point, but that's not the end all be. So remember that too. You can like somebody's view on an issue. And I ask everybody, what you need to do is get a sheet like I have in front of me. And on that sheet that's in front of you, write down all these issues and ask yourself which side you fall on and write it down. And when you're done, you need to prioritize most important to least important. And then you look at your sheet and say, the most important things versus the least important. Who am I seeing the most? What party am I seeing the most? See, we're not voting off of that. We're voting off of who we like. Oh, I like that person in the debate tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna vote for him because she won a debate. I'm gonna vote for her. He won a debate. I'm gonna vote for him. I like how he sounded. I like how she sounded. That's what we're doing, identity politics, instead of breaking down the issues one by one by one. Now, the funny thing is, I've actually done this exercise with somebody and their vote actually flipped. Their vote actually flipped. But then it was still too overwhelming. Yeah, but I just can't. That's why I say sometimes people will vote against their own interest. They will vote against their own interest. Why? Because they got people. Both sides, they got people. They got you worrying about the person instead of what's going to best impact your life and what you believe. They got people. Okay. So in regards to the economy, I know who best fits me for the economy. And the reason why I'm not going to tell you who that is, because I don't want to skew anybody's decision. I just want to explain what each category is and what it means to me and what I believe, and let you make your own decision. So I know from an economy standpoint, which one best suits me. All right. Now, borders and immigration. Ooh, this is one that's actually on the top of my list because I have a bigger sense and found respect for the country that we're in. Not so much because of its history, but the simple fact that it's the country I was born in, and it's the country that I want to see become one of the greatest nations on earth, whether we want to think that it is now or not. That's up to you. But I would love for my kids and my kids' kids and the kids that the great grandkids that I will never see, that they will be in a nation that they feel safe. They feel like they have equality, and they feel like they have an opportunity. So border and immigration is an important one for me. We talked about this before, but first of all, let's start with immigration. A lot of people don't even understand immigration. Let's get one thing straight. First of all, the United States of America needs immigration. Both sides agree on that. See, so this notion of, oh, one side wants all the immigrants, the other side don't want none. That is a false narrative. Both sides agree and want immigrants in our country. Why? Because we have to have immigrants in our country. Why do we have to have immigrants in our country? We need them now more than we ever have in our life because our birth rates are getting decimated. Our birth rates in America are getting decimated. We're on the verge of losing population instead of gaining population. And in order for the markets, the economy, and everything to continue to grow and sustain, your population actually is supposed to grow. Now, when it comes to economics, I know what I know what I'm talking about. This isn't me shooting stuff off the wall. This is what I went to school for, what I was forced to go to school for because I was in corporate America and I didn't have a business degree. And they basically said, you can't go and be a director and all that without the core business courses. So they made me go and I learned economics, marketing, finance, all that good stuff. But I took exception to economics because it was so interesting of how it works on a world stage. And the common person has no clue. That's why when they say certain things on that stage in debates, people don't even understand what they're saying. They wait to hear something they understand and be like, yeah, man, that's a high level conversation that's being had on that stage when it comes to economics. And most people don't even catch it. You need immigrants to sustain the United States GDP. You need immigrants because we are not having babies at a fast enough rate. This is a fact, and both sides agree. This isn't an issue. Oh, we don't want immigrants. Both sides want immigrants, just so you know. Now, here's where the friction comes. How many and who? The friction is how many and who? Sticky conversations. First of all, let's get on how many. Let's talk about how many. There is a number that economists already have in place recommended. They actually vote on it. They have bills that say, okay, this is how many we're going to bring in every year. And that number is a good number, y'all. When our legislation has a number of how many we need to bring in every year. And they agree on it. They sign the bill. Okay, that's what we need to bring in. I can look up the numbers right now. I'm just giving you the general gist of how it works. So let me throw some numbers out just for education purposes. Say our legislation is written in that we want to bring in 300,000 immigrants a year. That's what we need to sustain our GDP and keep it growing on the pace that we want it to grow. Right? 300,000 a year. I think the number is something like 600,000 or whatever. Then you got another 130,000 visas. It's a ratio. It's a certain amount. Right? This is the amount that, first of all, we can handle. And when I say handle, remember, if you go over that number, you're putting stress on public resources. Imagine tomorrow a million immigrants in your city. You wake up, hey, a million new people in our city. Can your city handle that? No, you're going to have people posted up all down your street. You're going to have empty shelves in the grocery store. You're going to have congested traffic. Everything, your infrastructure is built for your infrastructure. So we know how much we're building our country every year. So we need this amount and we need to put them in certain areas. And then we need to continue to grow and build the nation. More tax dollars, bigger military, bigger budgets, more influence around the world, strong economy. We need immigrants, but you need a certain amount. So Immigration is not a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. Now, immigration can impact the economy positively and negatively. Immediately, it could be negative, but the long-term result is positive based off of GDP and tax dollars. Once you get them acclimated, you get them working. Everybody agrees on this. There isn't a fight. Now, let's get to the fight. Who we letting in? And why are we letting in more than we're supposed to? So if you're supposed to let in 600,000 a year, why are we letting 2.5 million in a year? You see, I'm just throwing numbers out there. It's happening, but they don't even know the numbers. Okay? So one has to ask, and here's where I use my common sense on how I feel about this situation. I've educated myself enough to know that we need immigration, but what we need is legal immigration. Illegal immigration is when you come across the border, not at a point of entry, a port of entry. See, if you're doing it legally, all you got to do is walk to a port of entry and say, hey, I'm legally coming to seek asylum. Okay? Legal immigrants apply for citizenship. Illegal immigrants do not apply for citizenship. They just come over. And when we catch them, a lot of them claim asylum. What is asylum? They are fleeing from their home country due to persecution or conditions that's life-threatening. That's a generic term so y'all can understand. So what the United States says is, okay, if you're fleeing a dictator, a bad condition, you know what? We love you. We don't want to turn you down. You are allowed to do that. What happens at that point is you go to a point of entry, you say, I'm seeking asylum, and then they'll give you a court date where a judge will hear your situation and determine whether you can stay in the country or not while you're applying for citizenship. One side is arguing that's not what's happening. They're just sneaking over and coming into the country. And I think we all know this is true. There's so many people coming over that we're not catching and they're coming into the country. Now that's a problem. That is a problem. We have a quota to meet. We have a certain standard that we have to meet. And at the end of the day, we need to meet that level. So what do you do? What do you do as a people if you know the sustained number of people that you could bring into the country is 600,000, but you know that millions of people are sneaking in undocumented? What do you do as a country? Let's call it what it is. You lock the doors. There needs to be checks and balances of the entry and exit in your house. It's like, that's one of the most common sense things to me. You lock the doors, but there's a fight to lock the doors. Some want the doors locked. The others, oh, that's unfair. We shouldn't lock the doors on people seeking asylum. The other side says we're not locking the doors for people seeking asylum. We're just asking them to use the front door and not the window. I don't want them climbing through our window because we can't see around the side of the house, them going into the house. We need to know who's coming in our house because some of them are rapists. Some of them are killers. And it is true. I've done my research on this. I thought it was just talking points, but it is true. And it is documented. You even got presidents of other countries talking about it. Emptying out their prisons. This is a fact. I did my research. You have people in other countries that can no longer afford to house prisoners. It's expensive to house prisoners. The U.S. pay a lot of money to do it here. You literally have countries that are saying, you know what? Let's be smart. Let's let go all these thousands of murderers and let them know we'll let you go, but you got to go across that border. You got to get up out of here. You got to flee to the United States. So when you see people climbing through windows and coming through the front door, and you identify that murderers are also on the way, don't you want to check everybody coming in? Don't you want to know who's coming in your house? You need to go check out the Dr. Phil interview too, which I was shocked. I had to go do everything that I'm shocked about. I go do my research to make sure I ain't shocked falsely, that it's actually accurate. They've actually identified over 30 terrorists that have already entered in our country. And this was last year, by the way. They have already identified 30 terrorists that have entered our country. Terrorists, known people on the terrorist watch list. Known people on the terrorist watch list entered our country. So how many has entered that we don't even know of? Somebody said TD riding the fence like a mofo. That means I'm doing a good job. Because what I'm trying to help a lot of y'all become is the fence. The problem we have in this nation is you're on one side or the other fence. Let's talk about the fence. The fence has the issues. The fence has the holes that got to be addressed. In this stream, I intend to ride the fence like a mofo. Because that's where the real issues are. The fence. Not over there or over there. We all need to come to the middle and talk. So yeah, I'm riding the fence. That's what I'm here to do. But at the end of the day, you need to decide whenever I talk through this stuff, which one makes the more sense and which side of the fence is supporting what. Now, let's keep going. There are murderers, gang members, killers, all the worst stuff being emptied out of countries' prisons, heading to the United States and saving other countries millions and billions of dollars so that they don't have to deal with them. And I'm not really sure what leg we're standing on to defend it, to be honest with you. We gotta secure our borders. And it doesn't mean people can't come in. That's the piece that nobody's articulating. You gotta secure your borders and know who's coming in and out. That's how I feel about it. Now, I'm the type of person that's trying to look for ways for everybody to be able to get in, right? You know, we can't handle resources to just handle a certain amount of people coming in, right? So I got all kind of ideas and programs in my mind that can let people come in, and then they're on like a work program helping us build a nation and earning their citizenship. And yes, when I say earn it, that's right. Because the way the immigration bills are set up, one side is like, we just need all the oppressed people to come in. The other side is saying, no, we need the best of the best to come in. Doctors from this country, engineers from that country, computer scientists from that country, nuclear physicists from that country. We want to give them the visas and the immigration. We want them to help us advance our country. One side prefers a more merit-based, the other side prefers a more social, we want to help save you. Now, I'm actually for both. I don't want people around the world to live the way that they're living. And that's another thing. People in the U.S. have no clue how people around the world live. Stop looking at the U.S., Russia, China, and the major powers. Listen, y'all have no idea how people around the world live. Like, it is crazy difference. A plane can't travel. It can. A plane doesn't travel to a majority of the population of the world. So if you could go online right now and book a flight to China, Russia, wherever, right? Do you know that that's like all those places is a small percentage of the population of the world? All those places that don't even have airports and all that stuff, they're like majority of the population of the world. And these countries literally, man, like they're making like pots of rice the size of this room and everybody running to go get it for dinner and stuff. Like 5 cents a day. Y'all think that's just a infomercial? 5 cents a day, you know? No, some people work 12-hour days for 10 cents. And no, that 10 cents don't get you a piece of gum and get you a bag of rice or something like that. So people like we're just cushy in our homes with dolphin stuff all around, a refrigerator that some of them don't have. It's like a lot of people don't have refrigerators around the world. Like really, they dinner tomorrow sitting right here. Yeah, we're gonna eat that tomorrow, whatever it is. Like people don't understand that. They have no clue. They just think that, oh, people may not live as good as us, but they have enough. No, y'all don't understand. Don't understand, man. But anyway, back to it. What I've learned, what but economists have studied, the reality of immigration to help people, you'll never be able to help everybody. Will helping some is that you will actually be more impactful bringing the help to them than having them come get help. That's what I've learned. I'm running away from running water. You'd be better off investing in helping people around the world build wells and do all of that than bringing people here, because we, like our yearly immigration, even if we brought in 2-3 million people a year, it would be 0.000000001% of helping the people that are in poverty of the world. Literally, it would be so insignificant, but you could do so much better by bringing it to them and helping them, their economy, and helping them have a sustainable, growing place. This is why countries cut deals. They like, well, we'll manufacture your cars with our labor. Just, let us get in this economy. Let us get in this business around the world. And then all of a sudden you get wages, you get stores popping up, you get in crop fields, and now they start building an economy. It's better off building economies around the world, helping people build economies around the world, than trying to bring in 0.000000001% of people to say that you help. So that's what I know about immigration. But also when it comes to the borders, I'm sorry. Right now, we're in a state of emergency, in my opinion. Nobody's declared it, but me. We're in a state of emergency. They have already stated that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when the next terror. Did you know that it was just on the news that they just stopped the terrorist attack? There was a terrorist attack that was supposed to take place on I think September, maybe it might have been for today, that they just stopped. They thwarted. He was headed over to the US and they stopped him in another country because Intel caught him. Say he was going to have the biggest terror attack since 9/11 and he was going to go through the southern border. But when they have already found out that terrorists have already crossed the southern border, it's just a matter of, can we find them? You know the sad part? If something was to happen in this country like 9/11, we're going to go right back to looking at the origin of where they came from, what terrorist group, and we're going to bring the war to them, as we should. But why aren't we doing things to prevent it? Why did we allow them in? That's unacceptable. That border situation, it's a complete mess. Now, when it comes to politics and what you saw on the stage tonight. One side says they had a great border bill. I looked at the border bill. In regards to the border, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, it was great. One side say they had a great border bill, and the other side shut it down in the name of politics. I looked at the border bill. It was great. But what they don't tell you is a 1,000-page border bill on page 676, the last line, we also want to add $5 billion for youth gender assignment. See, this is what a lot of bills are. They'll put something that's good in it, and then they'll fill it with all this little stuff that most people don't agree with, or the other side don't agree with, to push it through. And when the other side say, no, we ain't signing that bill, they say, see, they don't even want the border closed. Look at them. That's what happens in these bills, and both sides play that game. Democrats and Republicans, both sides play the game. They'll have a bill in place, and this is why they call it pork bill. I know y'all done heard that term a million times, but some of you don't even know what it means. Pork bill. That means it's a bill to address something, but all the pork down there, which they consider it the bad stuff. All that pork down there in the fine print of the bill, knowing we're not going to go for it, vote it down. Both sides play this game in politics and tell the American people they don't want to have good health care. They just shot the bill down. They don't want to have the border closed. They just shot the bill down. That's what they do. That's what they do. That's the issue with the whole border situation. That's where I go with it. All right. Abortions. That's a big one. That's one that touches people dear to their heart. I'm an individual when it comes to abortions that I'm gonna say something, and when it comes to abortions, I believe every person should have the right to choose what they want to do with themselves. Now, in regards to the argument of abortion, about how far in someone is pregnant and all of those type of things, all of that argument, it's important to me because I'm one of those individuals when you know, heartbeat and all that, we got a person in there. And people keep saying, you know, my body, my choice. And I'm like, well, that's a person in a body. This issue, I actually like what just happened to it. And what just happened to it is, I agree that this should not be in the hands of the federal government. The federal government should not be telling people what to do with their body. This is why I personally endorse what happened recently. They put it on the state level to let the people decide. That's what democracy is. If this is one of the biggest issues that the country is divided on. So if a country is divided on something, the government shouldn't be making a decision. The people should. And that's what happened recently. When Roe v. Wade was eliminated, it allowed the people to decide. It dropped the ruling down to the state level. Now, people of Georgia, do you want abortion? If you say yeah, you got them. People of this, do you want them? You say no, you don't have them. I don't even know what the argument is. This was the best thing ever for people that are pro and non-pro. Let the people decide. That is what democracy is. That's what democracy is. So if you got a whole state of people that don't like it, then they should be able to live and not have it. If you got a whole state of people that do like it, then they should be able to live and have. That's their business. So I actually applaud the fact that it was moved down to the state level. The government should not be making this decision. The people should. We the people. I don't even know where the argument keeps coming from. And here's the tough part about it. Like, some things in our country is so contradictory. It's like, we know that our population is in a decline. We should be promoting people or having programs that can help them through, things like this. If our population is in decline, as it is. So that's where I'm at on that. That's where I'm at on that. You choose what you do, but it has to be within state laws. So when they say, hey, why should somebody have to travel to another state to get help? That's what responsibility is. You got to make that decision. Some states allow guns, some don't. That's why it was kind of confusing to me too. Somebody said there was a gun owner tonight living in the District of Columbia. How you own a gun? Let me stop. That ain't on the fence. All right. Anyway, that's where I'm at on that. Okay. I think every woman should decide what they want to do, but there's state laws. Just like there's some states that say you can smoke weed now, some say you can't. You want to enjoy the cannabis, then you need to go to a state that allows you. State law. Or start the petitions and start the votes. It's that simple. Okay. And you see some of the rulings that recently came down. There's already been some states that voted where you can. So bam, the people of those states are cool with it. The people of the other states aren't. So you got to adhere to that. It's just where I'm at with it. All right. But I don't get into that old, I can't say anything for women. I'm not saying anything for women. That's actually advocating for women. But I do kick back when people say men shouldn't speak on women. Well, what if I don't want to identify as a man today? What if I want to? No, let me stop. See, but that's what goes through my mind sometimes. Some of this stuff is contradictory. Men shouldn't speak on women. Well, you know what? For this case, what if I want to just identify? So some of I be confused, man. You're more confused, man. All right, man. Next one. Housing costs. I don't need to touch on the housing costs because it's a subcategory of inflation. The housing costs they will correct themselves eventually, ladies and gentlemen. They're already started, by the way. They've already started. It's going to take a while, though, because we got to get out of inflation. And when we get to inflation, I got a lot to say. But the housing costs, it's a part of inflation. Now, here's what I don't like. As you see the bill that passed in California, giving loans to certain minority groups, but including immigrants in that. I do take exception to that, because when you have bills that give money for homes, what that means is a lot of people are going to take advantage of that bill and buy homes, which means there's going to be an even greater shortage of homes and increase the value of homes, right? It's going to make it even worse. But that's not the issue I have. The issue I have is the fact that I feel like right now in our country, we are basically putting immigrants ahead of normal, everyday working citizens in this country. We technically are. It doesn't make sense that people can get the food they need, the housing they need, and education they need for free, and we continue to work for it and then barely get by. And some and others are living comfortable. That's not, and that will never be a okay scenario. And for the person in the comment section, it's not a false story. They are eligible. They are included to be eligible to get the loans. I don't know how they doing right now. I don't know if they're applying for them or not, but including them in the eligibility could be an issue. There are people in this country struggling every single day. I mean, you got people around here saying, do I need to leave the country and then walk across the border and just act like I'm, an immigrant and to get this stuff because I can't afford mine? That's a fair question. That's a fair question in today's society. So this housing cost situation, it's getting better because the market is so overinflated. The value of things are greater than they really are. And it's going to come down eventually. But if we continue to spend money at the rate that we are as a country, the inflation won't come down because the value of the dollar won't become stronger. And this is an economic conversation that everybody don't understand. They don't even understand the strength of the American dollar. They don't even understand the logistics behind that and what it means. And for just basic terms, if you make $1 a day and you pay $1 a day in gas, okay, you made $1, you pay $1 in gas. This is what inflation is doing. You make that same $1 a day and now gas is $2. Some people don't even understand the concept that you're actually making 50 cents in the old money. You're making less. No, I'm still making the same $1. That $1 ain't worth the same anymore. Technically, with that math I just gave you, you're making 50 cents. It's just a paper that say $1. But what it used to be worth, now it's worth that $1 is worth 50 cents. So this is becoming a major issue. All right, let's move off of housing because when we get to inflation, it'll explain more of that, okay? Racial divide. There's been a racial divide in this country for a long time. And I think when people talk about racial divide, a lot of times we say minorities. I mean, the elephant in the room, let's just be honest, most of the time it's really black, white. I'm tired of using the word minority. Most of the time when we talk about racial divide, everybody talk about black, white. Now I understand Asians getting, problems now and, Hispanic, but the real issues in this country has always been black, white. It always has been. Okay. Here's how I feel about it. The racial divide. This is what I believe. And I may be ignorant to this and I may be wrong. I don't know, but this is what I'm seeing because I live my life and I interact with, I'm an African-American man. Okay. I interact with Caucasian people all day, every day. I have friends that are, my church is predominantly, even though it's a melting pot, it's everybody. That's why I love it so much too. The culture of it is just amazing. But here's what I feel like I've learned. So when I say that, I preface it like this. I could be wrong. So y'all can kill me all you want, but I could be wrong. This is how I feel. So if you got black and white, right? I feel like, let's just say white people, right? Way over there, like 100 white people down the line, right? Way at the end of the line, right? There's like 5 white people that hate me just because of the color of my skin. There are like 5 people way down there that hate me because of the color of my skin. There's another 45 people that's like, I don't hate you. I just don't mess with you. Be about your business. I don't care nothing about none of all that. I mean, why y'all even bringing it up? Right? I don't rock with you because I'm about my own life. I can care less about you and your people. Right? which I don't see nothing wrong with, by the way. And then the other 50 people commingle. Yeah, we good. Everybody good. And I feel like the racial divide, we always highlight them 5 people down there whenever they interact and they do they stupid stuff. That's how I be feeling about it. We always blow up and go crazy about them 5 people down there. And then the people that don't care, we demonize them for not caring when they have a right to. I ain't getting into all that. That's y'all business. And then it gets all convoluted when we're talking to the other 50 that's right here with us, like, oh, yeah, and then there's, debates and conversation. That's how I feel about it. Which is like, we know that there are bad racist law enforcement, bad racist people. We know that. That's it. By the way, it ain't ever going away. Like you think we're ever gonna have this oasis of everybody holding hands, and it ain't ever going away. But how I feel about it is, as long as we keep on highlighting them 5 stupid people down there at the end that keep on doing dumb stuff and making it seem like it's 70%, it's gonna always be a divide. And the media gonna always play to it because that's how they control certain people too. So on the side that I identify as African Americans, what I see is the media at work telling you that them 5 people down there is really 70 of them. They drilling in your head all day that them 5 people down there is 70 of them. And for us, 70 is 100. Oh, nah, yeah, nah, I'm straight. That's how I feel about it. And they're manipulating us. So anything they want from us, all they got to do is remind you of the 70 people. Oh, y'all vote for that person. Oh, 70. Oh, yeah. I see it. It's crazy. This is how I feel about race, the racial divide. We're going to continue to have it because they're going to highlight it, put it in our face every chance they get. If I do something hateful to my brother, you ain't going to ever hear about it. If one of them 5 idiots down there do something hateful to me, everybody going to know. So as long as we don't treat every bad interaction the same, you're going to always have the divide because the perception will rule. The perception will rule. A lot of people don't want to understand that they're being manipulated. They get offended when you try to show them the manipulation. They get offended and they hate you and they call you all kind of names and stuff. That's what I believe. I might be the dumb one. 70%. It might be. But that ain't what I see. So, and I could be wrong. But it just ain't what I'm seeing. It ain't what I'm feeling. It ain't what my interactions are. So, racial divide, that's where I'm at on that. That's where I'm at on that. It gets a little deeper, but I'll leave that alone because then I'm really going to be offending some people. Let's go to the next one. Police brutality. Them 5 people with power. Once again, police brutality, them 5 people with power. 100 people on the force. Them 5 idiots down there with power. And then remember them 45 who don't care? If they're a little extra aggressive, they're a little extra aggressive with everybody, but they're only going to tell you about, the certain occurrences of over-aggressive. Same thing. Same thing. Same way I just reviewed race relations. Police brutality, them 5 idiots are turned into 5% of the idiots are turned into, oh no, trust me, y'all, it's 70. It's 70. 70%. That's how I feel. Once again, I could be wrong. I could be the idiot here. Right? That's where I'm at on that. Now we've made it to inflation. Now I have a little bit of fun. Inflation. This is where there's too much. There's a lot of true lies and false facts when we talk about inflation. First of all, inflation is at an all-time high, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that don't understand inflation, first of all, the unacceptable inflammatory rate, well, inflation is, and they debate this, they've moved it over the years, but it's usually 2.5%, but a lot of people say 3% now. An acceptable inflation on value, let's just go with the 3%. So if something costs $100 this year, it needs to be 103 next year, keeping up with inflation, because we're growing. The value of things should be going up, right? 3%. And somebody in the chat said 2.9. That's why I put it between that. So let's just go with whole numbers, 3%, right? Let me say this. Inflation is off the chain. Throughout the pandemic, all the way up until now, right? Let me tell you where we're being lied to. Inflation was 7%, 8%, 10%. Now, this is what I want y'all to realize, right? So you got to look at a chart, right? Think this in your mind. Let's say year one, it costs $100. Year two, it should cost $1.03. $103, right? But instead of $103, it's $111. Year three, it should be 106, but now it's 128. Year four, it should be 109. 110, because again, 106 with 3%, it's starting to be like 4. It should be 110, but now it's 160, right? So that's a 3-year span that I just gave you, right? Because that's what kind of just happened. What should be 110 today is 160, right? Here's where they lie to you. Oh, for the first month, we've gotten inflation down to 3%. We got it back to the normal levels. This is where you're being lied to, and you need to pay attention to what I'm about to say. We finally got it to 3%. That means it went from 160 to 164. Now it's operating at the normal levels. And people are like, oh, no, inflation is back down. We're back to normal. This is what this country keep doing, and y'all ain't noticing it. They have an inflation period that boosts you up, and then when you get up, you start going at the acceptable level again. And they make you forget about that gap. You're not back at an acceptable level until you get down to 110, what it should have been. So if they say, oh, inflation is at an all-time low, 2%, that's the year-over-year rate. Until we have deflation in this country, we're screwed. Until we have deflation, we're screwed. This is what they do. You notice that with the gas? Y'all remember when it used to be $1.90, and then all kind of trouble happened, and it went up to 2 something, and then it went back down to 160, and we like, ooh, okay, we can live here at 160 something. They got you used to a new high. They took you from $1 to $2 and then brought you back down to 167. Then you celebrated and made that the new norm for 5 years or so. And now you're like, yeah, gas back down. No. Then they took you from 167 to $4 and brought you back down to 350. And it's like, ooh, it's back down to 350. Like, y'all are missing the gaps. You're not seeing what they're doing. And they get you used to it. Man, my ticket cost me 80 to fill now. It used to cost you 40, but now you're celebrating 65. Oh man, gas going down. It says 65. Yeah, we got them. Now run it at 65 as the norm. You know, noticing that? But they do that with products, everything. So inflation is off the chain. And I don't care when they come out, oh, this administration just got inflation to an all-time low at 2%. It's still too high by far. Until we start seeing deflation, we are not headed in the right direction. Now, it's a pendulum though. If I know I got some economic heads in here, so you'll understand what I'm saying, and I hope everybody else do, because I'm gonna explain it in simple terms. It's a pendulum though. This is why we keep on waiting on the Fed. They meetings. Every time the Fed have a meeting, I'm glued to the TV. Are they gonna raise interest rates, lower it, keep it the same? It's a balance, because here's the problem. If they lower the interest rate, people are going to go out there and spend. And when they go out there and spend, what's going to happen? Inflation going to get worse. People don't understand right now, the U.S. Treasury is trying to break y'all. They are trying to take every penny in your pocket. Now, here's the crazy part I'm about to say. Y'all can be like, what do you mean, TD? Listen to me. It's the only way out of this. It's the only way out of this. The Fed knows we got to make everybody broke. We gave them too much money in the pandemic. That's what created the inflation. Most of it, all the stimulus checks, all these wars that we paying for, it's devaluing the dollar. So the Fed is like, all right, man, raise the interest rates. We went from 3% to 4%. That ain't helping. Go to 5%. That ain't helping. Go to 6%. That ain't helping. Go to 7%. Oh, there we go. There we go. Not a soul. There ain't nobody buying houses now. Everything, all the corporations, they loans are due, and they paying higher interest rates on the new loans. So they got to raise prices. Yeah. They are intentionally putting us in inflation, but the sad part is it's the only way to fix our issues. Because here's why. You need responsibility in the White House. You need responsibility in Congress, in the Senate, because Congress passing the bills, Senate got the purse. So Senate's telling you what they'll approve money for and what they want. So you need a fiscal responsible administration, and we ain't had one. I ain't gonna lie. It looked like we were gonna have one until a pandemic hit. We were saving money. We were getting money from other countries. We were actually about to lower the deficit. Pandemic hit. All of it went to the heck. Our national debt just keeps rising. Nobody cares because they're like, just keep printing money. Like some of y'all don't even understand what that means. Keep printing money. Okay. And that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. And guess who paid for it? I don't want to hear nothing about no, if we just have the rich pay their fair share, they ain't ever going to pay their fair share because they going to take advantage of the laws that are in place for corporations with tax breaks. And the reason why they never change it, because they all benefit from it. They all benefit from it. Every time and this is where I ain't on no fence. Every time I hear a politician saying we need to tax the rich more, I get angry because you keep lying to people. When they say they want to tax the rich more, first of all, it ain't ever going to pass because both parties in the House and the Senate will never let it pass because their donors, the one that's paying for them, ain't going to never let them do it or they're going to lose their money to get reelected. And plus, they don't want to do it. Why? Because it's the biggest benefit for the wealthy. And it ain't just this like, oh, the rich people, right? There is a different economic philosophy with it, right? People say, oh, the rich need to pay more taxes. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Wealthy people that are worth billions don't have $1 billion in the bank. They don't have $1 billion at home in their safe. None of them got $100 million in their safe or in the bank. None of them got $30 million in the bank or in their safe. And if they do, they stupid. None of them got the money. They don't even have the money. They control the money. Their corporation is worth billions. The company is worth billions. And companies don't want to pay taxes. So in order to not pay taxes, they'd rather grow. Let me break this down for some people. If I run a business, which I do, but let's just say big business, because I ain't big business yet. I will be. If I got this corporation, let's just say Amazon, and I'm going to throw out fake numbers, right? If I got this corporation that's making $1 billion a year, which they make in hundreds of billions, but they making $1 billion a year, right? I made $1 billion profit this year, and they're trying to tax me 30% on that. A corporation ain't finna pay you no $30 billion. And if they do have to pay you $30 billion for taxes, oh, heck no. Fire half the people and make the ones that stay here do double the work. All right, we got our billion back. Oh, unemployment is high now. This is what all the corporations gonna do. They're gonna fire half the people. They're gonna make the ones there work even harder and be more efficient. The labor market going to be more intense. Y'all don't even recognize the labor market changes. Sometimes they offer you incentives to get hired. Sometimes it's hard to even get hired. That's all based off the economy. They going to make their profits no matter what because they are legally responsible to do so based off of corporate law. They have to do any and everything to make sure that they look out for the best interests of their shareholders. So you can make me pay all the more taxes you want. You're going to have another 60,000 people in Dallas unemployed, another 40,000 people in whatever unemployed. And I promise you, when those people go apply for food stamps and government assistance in unemployment, it's going to be 3 times the money that they could have been making if they would have just been on that job. And guess who pays that, y'all? The middle class taxpayers that don't have corporations, our tax dollars. So the other side is saying you should give corporations tax breaks. Oh, making the rich richer. Yeah, they're getting richer, but let's be honest here. If you save a corporation, I don't know if y'all familiar with Amazon. Those of y'all who are in Amazon hotspots, ain't it a new factory or warehouse popping up every week in certain areas? So if you say, if the government says, I'm going to give you $30 billion in tax breaks, the owner of the company is not going to say, ooh, let me put that 30 billion in my pocket. Because if he put the 30 billion in his pocket, he's subject to like 40-something% tax on a personal level. You can only be taxed on your profits. So what does the owner do? He don't take that money and put it in his bank account to get 40% taxed on a personal level. He say, hey, let me take that 30 billion. Let me automate my company. Let me go build 30 new warehouses next year and grow. And now now they making more and more money, but they using that money to grow. And if they're growing, what else is growing? The economy is growing because instead of laying off 40,000 people, now they hired an additional 40,000 to handle the new warehouses. They want to grow instead of pay taxes. They want to grow instead of pay taxes. But if you make them pay taxes anyway, here's the trick of it all. Say you're like, I don't want you to grow. Screw all that. I want you to pay your fair share. Guess what they're going to do? Oh, yeah? Well, I'll just lean right back on the tax code. I ain't making no profit this year. I'm going to go spend that $100 billion that I made, and I'm going to grow anyway. All right, instead of 30 new factories, give me 250 new factories. And go hire people. And then when they go do their taxes, where's your profit? I opened up 250 new factories. Ain't no profit. I spent every penny on growth, company expense. And you can only tax them on profit. You can only tax them on profit. So when the government say, oh my gosh, we're not getting the tax revenue we wanted, guess where they go? Guess where they go for the money? All right, next year there's going to be a tax adjustment. You know, we're going to do this. We're going to do, and they ain't really going to talk about it much. It's going to be low key. And the middle class always pays for it. no matter what you say about corporations, you ain't ever gonna tax them. It is a political talking point. You know why? Because 95% of people are living check to check, and it just makes you feel good to hear make the rich pay their fair share. It's innate in you. Like people are using everything that tugs on your innate emotions to drive you to believe everything they want to say. It's innate in you. If you're living check to check and working hard, and you hear somebody say fair share and pay taxes, how did they get a refund of $2 billion? He didn't get a refund in his pocket. The company got, like, people was like, which was it? Was it Amazon that got that big old refund, like $30-40 billion or something? Ladies and gentlemen, they just took advantage of the Obama tax cuts for the corporations. They gave corporations credits to become automated. So what did Amazon do? They went and they paid for all them factories with automatic conveyor belts and all that stuff. Hey, they're going to give us a credit for it to grow our business more. Cool. We'll hire more people, make the economy better. How did they? And then when it's time for election, the same people that gave them the tax breaks, oh, they need to pay their fair share. What? What did y'all talk about? It was the reason he got a refund was because of the tax breaks. The tax credit for companies that it was like being innovative. Like if you turn your like this into automation, and they wanted to build the tech sector. So they wrote a bill that gives companies credits for that stuff. So, I mean, it's just like, but the normal person, day-to-day person has no idea what I'm talking about right now because they don't understand economics, tax code, and all of this. But these same people will walk on stage and say, we need to tax the rich. We need to tax the wealthy. And it pulls on certain people's heartstrings. Yeah, man, we out here working hard and they need to pay their fair share. They the ones that's employing you. Trust me, if they had to pay this quote unquote fair share, you might be unemployed because they gonna get their profits one way or another. It's gonna happen. So this inflation thing, they have to break the country right now to get inflation under control. This is how it works, ladies and gentlemen. If nobody has extra money, they can't buy anything. If they're not buying anything, supply and demand goes down. Supply goes up, demand goes down. And if you know anything about, economics, if supply goes up, demand goes down, prices drop. Prices drop. Right now, nobody want to buy a home at 7% interest, which is just crazy if you do. But nobody want to buy a home at 7% interest. So nobody's buying homes. They're at the pre-pandemic levels now of how many home applications are in. So but they still building. So the supply's going up, the demand's going down. Now in certain markets, the price is just starting to go down now. That's how it works. But the only way to do that is to break every single one of our pockets. How do you break everybody's pocket? Raise the interest rate. So loan interest rates, car interest rate, house interest rate, raise them. And the people that's desperate, but I have to have a car, you're going to go get it at that high interest rate, which means instead of paying $400 a month, you're paying $700 a month. I mean, you used to be able to buy a $30,000 SUV for $500 a month. Now them like $8,000-9,000 a month. And the car costs like $60 because of the inflation. So you go make that buying decision, more coming out your pocket into your bills, and you have less money to spend, and they'll get inflation under control, but we're going to keep suffering. Now, how do you combat that? Because what I'm explaining to y'all right now is that it's a necessary evil. We got to have this inflation to get ourselves together. It is a necessary evil, but then no president can combat it. Yes, you can. You have to impact the American people directly where it's hurting them. You got to take their gas from $3 and make it $2. You got to put legislation in place that can lower costs for certain things, like make incentives for truck drivers and things like that. So that so gas is such a, let me go back to gas real quick. It's such a big thing in our country. People don't understand the impact. Here it is. If gas goes from $3 to $2, all y'all probably save about $20 a week. Maybe more than that, depending on how much you drive, right? Not only do you save $20 a week, that means at the end of the month, you got at least an extra tank worth of gas, maybe even 2 tanks worth of gas, right? That's savings. Be like, yeah, that's just a tank of gas. It's so big. Now, the people that are transporting goods from Texas, fruits and stuff, coming to Florida or wherever, all the truck drivers driving, their rates aren't as high anymore because the gas went down. So now that $3 item is $2.80 because the gas factor in the travel to ship it has gone down. Gas it translates everywhere. It translates, like, it impacts a lot of things. This is why you heard it in a debate tonight, because I'm all for fracking. Like, get up in the Gulf of Mexico, drill. Let's bring this down to 180 if we can, 170. The new administration cut that off. We started to bleed, they reinstituted, but in different ways. This is what you heard at the debate tonight, which is true. I know who's in office when I fly from Texas to Florida at night. I know which party is in the White House. All you got to do is take a flight from Texas to South Florida in the middle of the night. Look out your window in the Gulf of Mexico and that plane traveling over water. If you see lights for miles, light there, light there, light there, light there, light there, lights in the Gulf of Mexico for miles, yeah, we got low prices. And as soon as another administration in office, you fly in, you don't know what's down there because ain't a single light in sight. No more drilling. No more drilling. That's how I used to tell. You can look out the window and you know who's in office when I used to take those flights. But gas alone, gas prices can change everything. It can lower a lot of the prices. It can help ease the inflation. We need inflation right now because our dollar, the value of our dollar is getting killed. But you can ease it on the day-to-day American people. I think one of the best ways you could do it is by reducing the price of oil, the barrels of oil, which they turn into gas. That's where I'm at on inflation. It is a bad situation right now. And people say, well, who's to blame for it? COVID is a major part to blame for it. So when people say Donald Trump or Joe Biden, COVID started it. It was inevitable. But when you're funding these wars overseas and you're taking American dollars to billions of dollars to pay for them, and you just keep on signing legislation, approving more and more money, which devalues the dollar, it makes it worse. And let's be clear, both sides, in my opinion, they want this war. And I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to say this briefly because I don't want to get too deep into it. When they talk about the military-industrial complex, it's real. You just need to look it up for yourself. There's certain people that actually want war and some people that don't want war. Why do they want war? Because every time they sign that bill for $100, $200, $300, $400 billion, go see how many of your elected officials are invested in those military contracted companies. So when you send another country that money to go fight their war, who you think they paying for their weapons? They sending that money to the weapon manufacturers and all that stuff. And guess who owns some of the major stocks in it? Boy, they bleeding us. The common day-to-day people, all this inflation, we paying for it all. Right now, we are paying for, we're asking for it. We're asking for it. Half of us voting for it. Half of us are voting for it. They wanted this war for a long time, man. For a long time. Anyway, that's inflation. Healthcare. I don't have much to say about healthcare because neither party has a good plan. Trump couldn't answer that question tonight. He ain't got no good plan. And the plan that's in place from the previous the Obamacare thing, it's a trash plan. He's right about that. But he ain't got no plan either. Both sides are just trash on health. You know why both? Oh man, this is gonna go deep, and I'm gonna talk about it too. Nobody wins on healthcare. Both sides are trash. Okay, that Obamacare situation. Let me tell you something about Obamacare. It gives the less fortunate insurance, and it gives those who can't afford it insurance. That's all good, right? What the big fight of Obamacare was, this is why Trump didn't get rid of it. He actually just repealed it. He kept it in place, but he changed one thing that everybody kept arguing about whenever Obamacare went into place. So say you got health insurance on your job, right? The cost of it goes up tenfold. You used to pay $50 a month and now it's $500 a month. You can't afford that. Your budget say you can only afford maybe $100 max a month. You just so used to 50, but now it's 100. Okay, you take the $100 a month plan, but now that $100 a month plan got a $15,000 deductible. What does that mean? Your first $15,000, you got to pay for everything over that, your insurance kick in. So if you go to the hospital and you get sick and they charge you $2,000, you go get sick again or break a leg, they charge you $6,000. You go get sick again and they charge you $4,000, right? 3 times in a year. Like, how often do y'all go to the hospital? Some of you none, some of you once, some of you twice, some of you 3 times, but really nobody going more than that unless you got a chronic condition. So for those people who have a $15,000 deductible, do they have insurance? I'm paying every month and I'm never meeting my deductible. But basically every time I go to the hospital, I'm basically paying out of my pocket. So do you have insurance? In essence, you don't have insurance. This was what that debate was about when Trump was running the first time. When Trump was running the first time and he was like, I'm getting rid of Obamacare. And everybody, oh, you trying to hurt people that need it. He was just trying to help the people that really don't have insurance. You're mandating me to carry insurance that I can't even use until I reach 15,000, and I don't even reach 15,000. In essence, I don't have insurance. I got to come out of my pocket. But here's the thing. He don't have a plan. So none of them win on healthcare. But this is where I go to RFK, and this shows you I listen to everybody. I hear everybody's point of view. This is where I'm with RFK. The reason why nobody ever has a good plan for health insurance is because it would bankrupt our country, any good plan. Why would it bankrupt our country? Because we're the most unhealthy country in the world. We are the most unhealthy country in the world by far. Chronic diseases and everything. We are the most unhealthy country in the world, pretty much. So nobody really truly want to tackle healthcare because it's a bill we can't afford. Why is it a bill we can't afford? You got to go do your research. But I would recommend you go listen to some of the things RFK has had to say because he has some facts behind it that I looked up myself and corroborated. 90% of the things that I've heard from him is true. I'm going to tell you now, sugar killing all of us. Sugar is killing all of us. Processed foods. And we approve foods in our country that other countries ban. This food is banned because of this substance in it. But we approve it. Why do we approve it? Because the same people they put in charge of like the World Health, like the United States Health Department, the same people we put in charge are paid and bought by the big food corporation. Just follow the money. All you got to do is follow the money. The same people that they put in charge to fix the problem are aligned with the people that are causing the problem. We're the most unhealthy country in this world. No, I'm not going on a RFK Jr. tip. I listen to everybody and what they have to say. I take what makes sense that I can verify, and I leave what I can't as a theory. But this here is verified. This is verified. Well, they said Obamacare was a godsend. For some people, it was. It was for my very own niece. It saved her. So I'm not knocking it in that regard. I was just happy when Trump removed the mandate. Nobody's saying Obamacare is all bad. But when he removed the mandate, it made it better. Now people ain't required to carry something they can't use anyway because of the high deductibles and the high premiums. So, yeah, that's healthcare. All right, guns. Tonight, the vice president said her and her vice presidential nominee are not taking anybody guns away because they're gun owners. They live in the District of Columbia. I hope they're not gun owners because that's privilege. But I think they do own guns, and they just talk about homes they have in other locations. I'm going to make that assumption to give them the benefit of the doubt. Here's the deal. What they're not telling you, though, is, yeah, they might be gun owners, and they don't want to take anybody gun away. But they're not talking about what type of guns. See, they'll tell you they don't want to take your 9mm away, but they want to take your AR away. So based off of the political realm, they do want to take your guns away. Military grade guns are the ones they want to take away. Now, some of them don't even I'm a gun advocate, by the way. When I was in college, I had like 13 of them, and I wasn't going to do nothing stupid with them. I just liked them. You know, I was using school checks and getting ARs, Mossberg pumps, 9s, 45. I was like, I just, going to the gun range every weekend, going down range, target practice and all that good stuff. Yeah, I had 3 ARs, but not anymore. But yeah, I mean, I'm good, but I ain't got that many. But they want to take away like the long range rifles and things like that. That's a debate that's been going on for a long time. Yeah, I'm one of those people. Some people gonna get mad at this. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. I'm one of those individuals. I truly do believe it. What's in somebody's heart, they're gonna try to find a way to do it regardless. Now I understand the tool that's being used can cause bigger damage, but that's just a part of it. That's just a part of it. So when it comes to guns, let me tell you something about the Constitution. Nah, I ain't gonna get too deep into that. But it's our right to bear arms. Okay? It's our right to bear arms. Not a privilege, a right. A right. You know the part that nobody takes serious because we live in a country where we just think, oh, we'll never have to worry about that. And that's where people mess up. when you look at the Constitution and you look at that part, you know, the right to bear arms against tyranny, it was, you know, I studied this too. I actually had to in school. I had to study this like interpretation of the Constitution. Anybody can tell you the interpretation. Like I think all law students have to. That's one constitutional right that everybody. I don't know if every school requires that as an assignment, but you have to interpretate that one. And it's clear. Like when you look at what the forefathers meant and everything, they envision a potential government tyranny, and that they want to make sure that this nation belongs to the people, not the government, the people. Government tyranny. People don't think your own government can become tyrannical. People don't think they can. I'm not saying we are, but we could possibly be headed that way. And not that we need to be doing nothing. But if you open your eyes and see everything going on, man, I just don't think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing. I just think we need somebody that's really gonna bring peace. Like, and I'll wait. I'll say my closing. I'll say that in my closing. We got world affairs. Let's handle world affairs real quick. The United States of America is the most powerful country in the world, excuse me. If you don't believe that, you need to. If we ever need to flex our muscles, I truly believe we can. It's no question about it. But we are not the only nation that can flex their muscles. If it came down to it and it was all said and done, there's 3, 4, 5 countries that will basically just wipe each other out at the end of the day, and there will be nothing. And nobody ever wants to get to that point. But the issue is all the little brothers and all that around the world, all of it is chess piece. It's all chess pieces. It's all chess pieces. I don't want to go too deep into it because, you know, they might come get you, boy. But when it comes to world affairs, you might want to think twice about everything you believe. Sometimes the people that are saying they're doing things in the name of peace and democracy are the biggest they're the biggest I got to use the right word, bullies. That's the soft version. They're the biggest bullies. If you dig into history and you don't only read American history, but you read German, French, Russian, Chinese, like when you read a lot of other nations' history, you can identify the difference in stories. How dictators may get taken out and labeled a threat to humanity, but they just didn't want to do business with you. Like y'all following me here? Hey, we want to trade with you and we want to, you know, build your economy and have access to this and have a base and all this and that. And if somebody says no, there are countries that TD, who's that behind you? There are countries in this world that have had propaganda spewed on their people, caused the people to uprise against the government falsely due to the propaganda that was initiated. And then when the government tries to get things under control because the people are being manipulated, it can get bloody. And then when it gets bloody, the world stage comes and say, genocide on their own people. We got to remove this leader. Then they get rid of the leader and they put in place their own leader that is going to get everything you wanted done. A lot of that is going on around the world with different countries. And in some people history books, the person they got rid of is named the evil person of what they did to their people. In other history books, they just turned down a deal with certain countries, and this stuff happens. And here's the cynical part that I'm going to show y'all about me. I can't even say that I totally disagree with it. People are naive to the fact that this is a cold world. Everybody's still fighting for territory and control. It just isn't like it used to be when you march 100 million people to each other shoreline and try to take over. Wars are fought differently now. That's why I be telling my wife, I probably wouldn't mind my son going to the military. Like the use of actual servicemen going forward are going to be minimized with technology. Wars are fought differently now. And people are naive to the fact that the things you got to do as a country can be nasty work, but it's for your nation. It's for the betterment of your nation and the future of your nation. Somebody said until it isn't, or until it's you, or until it's you, or until it's you. People think that we could never end up like some of these third world countries. We could easily end up like that. People will go to war over the dollar crashing. Like y'all think that we're going to allow the dollar to ever crash? That would be like, if the dollar ever crashes, that means the rest of the world doesn't value our money. They don't care about it anymore. So you won't have goods being shipped. You don't have your dollar means nothing. Could you imagine that? All the stuff you get from overseas, made in Taiwan, made in China, made in this, made in that, made in that. No more of that. Your dollar's no more good. This is why they have all these currency situations, all these new currencies they're creating. And I ain't talking about crypto. This is why China would sell off a lot of their US assets and purchase Russian. People don't understand what's going on out here on a whole nother scale. Whole nother scale. People don't have no clue. That's a deeper conversation, though. We almost done with this list. We got chronic health. We kind of talked about that, but chronic health, ladies and gentlemen, chronic health. Y'all need to go do your research on chronic health yourself, because I know what I've learned about it, the research I've done, but it's something that I have to go back to reference to. Yeah. It did say this and that. So if I start speaking right now, I might be saying certain things a little off because I don't quite recall 100%. But go do your research on chronic health, the facts behind it. There are statistics, like even, like babies, like the different deficiencies and stuff they have Now, like what's causing it when you go do the research on some of the things that might be causing some stuff. It's interesting. Go check it out. Go do some research on it. Funding Ukraine. We talked about that already. I just feel like some people want war. I think some people want war. What some people have said, but they won't talk about. It is believed that it's a war that can't be won if Russia just keeps going. The best thing you can do is broker a peace deal and stop killing humans. Somebody said, didn't Russia start in Ukraine? You go look at one history book and you go look at the other history book. Russia says that they're reclaiming their land that has always been theirs. Do y'all know that there's literally nuclear silos in Ukraine? Russian nuclear silos? So that's the issue. And Zelensky. I'm starting to believe that we hired him to run Ukraine. I don't like talking about the Ukraine war because the facts behind it, I know what's going on right now. I know what we're doing. But nobody cares about people that are dying. Like y'all don't hear about it. Nobody talks about it. Go look at how many people are dying. Yeah, but it's war, TD. Yeah, it is. But if it could be avoided, look at how many people are dying. A lot. It's just death. It's just death. I hate that people just dying. Whatever the issues are, people just dying, man. Climate change. Oh, I hate this subject. I hate the subject on climate change. Are fossil fuels and all that impacting our climate? Yeah. But nobody want to talk about how much. The answer is yes. Human behavior is impacting our climate on a 0.00000000003% scale. You don't see these storms? It's Earth. It's Earth. It's a planet. Yeah, but they're a little more severe now. It's hotter than it's ever been now. I've looked at the science. It's going to get hotter and hotter. And in a few thousand years, it's going to get colder and colder and colder. And then a few thousand years later, it's going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. Science already shows you cyclically this happens. Science shows you that this is a part of a natural progression. The only problem with that natural progression is that it takes thousands of years to play out the shifts. It takes thousands of years to play out the shifts. That's how I feel about climate control. LGBTQ. This is an easy one for me. You could be whatever letter you want to be. It ain't none of my business. You can do it proud. You can love who you want to love. Just don't come at my kids trying to influence them to. I am all for you loving who you want to love, identifying as whoever you want to identify as, and be whatever you want to be. Man, y'all leave these people alone. Let them be them. Just do not come bothering my children about it. Influencing them. If that's something that's real, that actually happens in people's brain, then let it happen to them naturally. But don't come with that influence and all that. Nope. I will be on the front line fighting for your right if you need me to. Just don't come indoctrinating my children, forcing them on them, telling them, well, no. That's it. That's how I feel about it. That one's easy. To each his own. You do whatever you want to do. Love who you want to love. Change whatever parts you want to change. That is your business. Just don't come bringing that mess around. Nah, let me stop saying mess. Don't come bringing it around my children. And as long as you don't bring it around them, and next thing you know, something in them do that, okay, I feel a lot better about that. But don't be coming influencing. Nope. Next, we already talked about fracking. So that's done. All 15 issues I've addressed. Guess what, y'all? I could be wrong on 15 issues. It's just what I believe. And if you disagree with me, I ain't got no problem with that, and I respect it. It's just where my brain is. I'm always seeking to understand things better. So if you have a different point of view, I don't read it and say, no, I consider it. I don't get into identity politics. I don't get into Kamala's past as a district attorney. I don't get into all of the things surrounding Kamala Harris as far as what you don't like about her. I don't get into Donald Trump's past. I don't get into all the things that he's dealt with. Because all the individual stuff is theatrics to pull on your heartstring and make a decision based off of the person versus your best interest. I don't care about the person. Oh, well, you should care about the person. First of all, that person don't have all the power you think they have anyway. I just want to know what legislation is going to be introduced, what bills are going to be presented, what programs are going to be presented, what laws are going to be instituted or proposed. And then I'll go to the House and Senate level to see who's accepting it and who's not. And I vote on that level accordingly. For my local House of Representative or my local senator. It's that simple. All the other stuff is a distraction. So when you write your list of concerns in this country down, when you write it down like I did, like y'all had me do, and you go through and you talk to yourself about what you believe about every issue, take the candidate's face off of it. Take what everybody told you they ain't do or they did off of it. And just where do they line up on this sheet? That's how I make my decision. And that's how I urge every American to make their decision. Because you know why? Most of the stuff the media is telling you about both of these candidates is nothing but pure manipulation. They are programming people and telling you who to vote for. They are programming people and telling you who to vote for using information. Strictly by information. I heard something about Kamala Harris last week. I was like, are you kidding me? Did my research. It was 1,000% untrue. And I've identified how they manipulated me to be like, man, at first, I can't believe this from her. Same thing with Trump. I still got relatives that believe he told people to drink bleach. I literally still have relatives that believe he told people to drink bleach. It ain't a bad thing on them. I just identify how they were manipulated to believe that. And I went back and did my research. And I listened to the whole bleach clip. And not once did he say drink bleach. And then the context of the clip from what his medical staff told him about the virus and how it dies instantly with bleach. And what he was basically insinuating was, well, can we create something like that can go in with bleach and kind of wipe it out? And all it took was one person on TV to say, I mean, he's insinuating to drink bleach. One person said that, in 10 news networks after that, Trump out here telling people to drink bleach. How that just changed. And even when I say what I just said, people are like, no, he did say, and then I say, go look at the clip. Yeah, but he insinuated. That's my point exactly. They will tell you what to insinuate. So the media is manipulating you on Kamala Harris and Donald Trump every chance they get. Stop looking at Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Look at your list. Talk to yourself about what you believe, and then go seek between the candidates who lines up with what you believe. Stop allowing them to make this a popularity contest. That's why my title says Postgame, because it's a game. It's a popularity contest. Who won tonight's debate? It's a popularity contest. Who have we presented for you to like more? That's what presidential elections have turned into. Who presents themselves more like I actually hear people saying this. Yeah, but this person doesn't present themselves as presidential. This person doesn't exude herself as a leader. Like, do you not see what's happening? Do you not see what's happening? Oh, 34 count felony. I'll see y'all in the comment section. 34 felonies. Yeah, Trump, they ain't finna let you be Nelson Mandela. Oh, put more black people in jail than ever. You know, I mean, stop. following identity politics. That is my message. Many of you all are being manipulated on both sides. And I don't want to call anybody ignorant or stupid, but most people don't even know. You have no idea. It's not your fault. They're doing a good job. They're doing a good job. They're doing a great job. I could tell you a lie right now, get 10 celebrities to repeat that lie, and one prominent person to back it up on the back end. You're all gonna believe it. And somebody gonna come, that's a lie. Oh my God, here come there. Man, y'all stop listening to that person, and you all gonna stop listening to that person. And when you sit back and you see how they twist words, or they leave a sentence out, or they do this or they do that, and you're like, man, look at how you just presented that to the American people. The way you worded it made her or him look bad. Dang, this is nasty work. This is nasty work we watching. Nasty work. And you just seeing masses of people falling for it. True lies and false facts. They are playing on the ignorance of the people. And I don't mean ignorance in a negative way. I mean it in a way that most of us are working all day, ain't got time to do no research. So we lean on the media and people to tell us what's right and what's wrong. We lean on them to influence our decisions and hope they have our best interests when half of them are sold. Somebody said, where's the balance? Am I on one side or the other, or am I just speaking truth? So if you feel that this is unbalanced, then whatever side you think I'm on, then maybe they're more truthful. I can't try to be more balanced than this. So if you feel like it's starting to tilt one way or another, that means truth is starting to come out if you're actually listening to what's being said. But that's for you to decide, not for me to tell you. That's for you to decide, not for me to tell you. Some of us got enough time to research and know when we're getting lied to. I know. There's a lot of people that's starting to see it, though. Some people are starting to see the lies. True lies and false facts. Some people are starting to see it. Some people are starting to see it. And I'll say this in closing, even with tonight's debate, people out there putting polls up saying who won the debate. The person who won the debate isn't even getting majority of the votes for most of the polls I saw, because the person who won a debate, people are reading through it. I was shocked tonight when I looked at several polls. I know who won a debate tonight because they did a good job convincing people. But every poll I saw, people say they lost. That just means they're not buying it. They're not buying it. Presidential debate post-game show is a wrap. 2 hours and 19 minutes. Here we are at 2:09 a.m. and 557 people are watching right now, man. We got 200 people on YouTube, 357 people watching on Twitter, one person on Twitch. I'm shocked that many people are watching this craziness tonight. TD just rambling on about stuff he think he know about, and just dead wrong. So yeah, man. I know we got all these super chats. Let me read some of them. TD ain't a two-a-near or Kamala near or Trump a near. Hey, I am a two-a-near. Don't be disrespecting me. Pay no attention to the person behind the curtains. Politics is a distraction from football. Both sides stand for the rich. Quid pro quo for the billionaires. BlackRock and those like them run this country. We vote to get the scraps. Hey, you know what's interesting that I learned? When you follow the money, right? You'll learn that who owns all these big corporations? Oh, that corporation owns all this big corporation. Well, who owns that big corporation? They own that corporation? How is everybody just owning each other? Hey, get up on game. I just gave y'all some big game. That might be the most powerful thing I just showed you tonight. Who owns this big corporation? That corporation does. Who own that corporation? Them and them and them. Well, who own them and them? Back to them. Everybody own each other? They working together at the top, man. This whole system. When they like, all right, we need to do this. Everybody put your money together, get behind that person because they're going to do this and it's going to shift this and it's going to cause that. It's all together, man. They all working together. All right, so that's who controls everything. And the only way to take that power back, I'm going to leave that. Oh man, shout out to John Foss. John Foss became a member of the channel. Salute to you, brother. Thank you for joining. I probably, even though I've been as neutral as I possibly can, I probably lost 1,000 subs. So we got some work to do on the channel, y'all. We got to build our subscriber base back because I'm pretty sure I lost quite a bit. Oh no, we gained 7 from where we were. We still probably lost like at least 50 and gained probably 57. That's probably what happened. That's usually what happened. All right. It's the Islamic jihads that spread their false ways of living. They do all the sneaking. And man, there's only one King of Kings, Jesus Christ. He loves you and you're never too far gone. All facts, something I definitely agree with and rock with you on. I'm right there with you on that. All right. Already read this. We got, if we all lived the way the Bible, the way of the Bible, we all would help each other and no one would go without. No egos, everyone humble, and no sacrifice through fasting. Too many selfish people. Everyone got an agenda. Yeah. Well, evil was introduced into the world from the beginning. Adam and Eve. That's fruit. Freaking fruit. I sent you a link to a video on Twitter. I will check it out, Rev William Perry. I will check it out tonight before I go to bed. One video on Twitter. Okay. All right. James 1:19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Like that. Good words right there. If everybody does that, be a much better world. We need Trump back. I need my therapy. And my therapy involves watching videos of Democrats losing their minds over Trump. LOL. Man, Democrats think spoons are responsible for obesity. I think you're trying to relate that to the gun situation. Using an analogy. You're a good guy. Love all your content. Fins up. Salute to you. All right. Romans 8:31. What shall we then say to these things? If God is with us, who can be against us? Lord, reach my brother and sister in the chat. Help them see you are the only way. In Jesus' name. Amen. Right? Crazy, because they didn't bring up about aliens, UFOs, Area 51. I know, if you know, you know. Respect you to you, TD. Take care. Man, is it Thursday yet? Let's go. Hey, that's a nice donation to end it off. We back to football. We got the Bills, y'all. I ain't going into it because I'm about to go take a shower. We already took a shower. I'm about to go to bed. But we got the Bills coming up. We're going to pivot off of this politics. Just a nice little late night banger, hanging out with my YouTube and Twitter family here on the channel. In closing, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Don't let nobody influence you who you should vote for. Write a list of the main issues in your life that you care about and what you believe about them, and then go seek out the policy of each candidate, not the candidate themselves, but the policy that they're introducing, okay? Go seek that out. And do they have a history of supporting that policy? Or is it a losing policy for them and they're changing it to tell you one thing and it's not? So that's just like Trump with healthcare. Stop, bruh. You ain't even got a plan. Kamala with a lot of issues, changing her stance. You were pretty adamant before. So go through everyone that matters to you. See who changed it. See who got a plan, who don't have a plan. Do that. Okay. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Fans up no matter what. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow, man. We back to Dolphins talk. We're gonna go over some film study of Tua Tagovailoa in the game from Sunday tomorrow on Wednesday. All right, y'all take care. If I offended anybody, it was never my intention. I just wanted to give you how I felt, and hopefully you could be respectful of that. If it bothered you so much that you hate me now, seek help. See you later. Peace.